Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for low effort listicle single shot taken on camera phone video time, and you're going to have to excuse the diesel reek and the diesel clatter because I've got my 605 Series 1 SRdt out for a little run to stretch its legs on a quiet lane this evening. It does need work, it's not currently on the road, but I'm walking round it because it's got a battery drain. A French car with a battery drain. How very strange indeed, and I'm worried that if I turn it off it may not get going again. So I'm walking around. I did do a video on this car, but it was a little bit bitter and a little bit twisted because of the sort of circumstances in how I acquired it. Used to be a well-known car on the French car scene, and it went through a couple of owners. The previous owner to me caught it on a bollard, did this damage. And then a few people got a bit upset when it appeared in print without the damage fixed, saying that they knew it when it was immaculate and I bought it cheap to run it into the ground because it was a big diesel car. That isn't the case. They didn't understand the context, and getting parts for these 605, especially the Series 1s, is very hard these days because they do have a folding, albeit a very small one, but getting especially body panels is quite difficult. But you can probably hear from the clatter, it's not a V6, and that's what everybody says on the internet. Whenever a 605 appears, oh, it's a shame it's not the V6. Well, they've clearly never driven one, because if I'm frankly honest, and this is my opinion, you can feel free to disagree with me, but the 12-valve PRV, especially in Peugeot guys, is an absolute nail. The only thing that it's got going for it is longevity. It's not smooth, it isn't powerful, it's horrendous on fuel in town. And if I'm being brutally honest, the larger 605s, and a lot of large French cars, are actually better lower specs and with a diesel engine. Oh, that sounds very plebeian, but it's just, this never does more than 40 or 45 to the gallon. You can hear me crackling on. And this has got an XUD11 in it. This is a 2.1 litre XUD. So I think it's 2-valve, so it's 2 inlet, 1 exhaust, so it's a 12-valve. Interesting thing. Now, for the longest time I thought the 2.1 XUD was a little bit pointless, but in bigger cars like this, and with the XM, which this shares a lot of components with, although it looks very different, the mid-range torque's far better. I drove them back to back recently, and yeah, the mid-range is far better with the XUD11. It's a little bit more willing to rev as well, which is always useful if you're heading for the governor and you need to get up a hill. Take you inside the car. As I say, I do apologise for how dirty it is. It's been safe away from the elements for a long time, especially since lockdown occurred. I will straighten up the steering wheel, as is best practice. But you can see it is violently beige, and I do mean violently. I even went and got some official Peugeot mats, which are a little bit filthy, to sort of complement the rage of the beige. It's quite a conservative interior, but a lot of these larger Peugeots were. If I get inside, I'll talk about the gearbox in a minute, because that was one of these cars' Achilles heels. But the coolest thing about it, I would say, is probably this. A little motorised flap. I know not why. I'm on camera, come on car, play the game. There we go. Let's talk about this gearbox, the ME5. Now, I'm used to sort of wobbly Peugeot rod-operated gearboxes. I know a lot of people hate them, but the BE series in the smaller 05 and 06 cars, I'm actually a big fan of. This car has also got a rod-operated gearbox, but the linkages are very long and the bushes wear out on them, and they have a really quite a horrible gear change. On this car, it has 95,000 miles now, and yes, the battery's been off, that's why the clock doesn't tell the correct time. The problem with this car is that the gearbox ranges from not too bad to utterly obstructive with many impenetrable moments. And that's what unbelievably torpedoed a lot of the attempts to sell the 605 in larger numbers in the UK. The autos weren't bad, they used a ZF4 HP14, but the V6 24 valves, which again are probably the best use of a PRV in a non-Alpine application. Alpine did do some good stuff with the PRV. They got them to respond, they got them to breathe. The 24 valves were kind of marred with a lot of camshaft problems. Camshafts made of chocolate and followers, therefore. And what happens with a lot of the 24 valve XMs and 605s is that a lot of them were broken up when they were very cheap and very unloved, because these depreciated like, you know, a tin tray full of crockery, chased by a piano, falling down a mine shaft vertically, you know, not in any other configuration. And they got broken up, and a lot of the 24 valve PRVs ended up, the ZPJ engines ended up in Alpines, GTAs, and so on and so forth. A few A310s, I think, maybe even. These were not greatly regarded. It's a shame, because they're absolutely fantastic to drive. I mean, this thing has 65 section tyres. I mean, when was the last time you saw an executive car on 65 section tyres? And it's pretty good for the fence, because the roads around here are terrible. And open the boot. Got your traditional massive boot. Sorry, I do really need to clean this. It's got a really nice sound when the door closes, or the panel closes. Yeah, sounds about right. And it's very solidly built. Quite a heavy vehicle. Drives along. But we get back to the reason why the 24 valves, which they only use manual gearboxes, weren't well regarded. I mean, apart from the fact that, you know, nobody wanted to stir the gears manually in a car this size, it used the same gearbox as the diesels. And when they went on trial with Kent and Strathclyde Police as fast motorway patrol cars, they loved the car but couldn't stand the gearbox, and that's why Peugeot didn't get a sale. There is one for sale at the moment, actually, I believe, an ex-police car. But we'll get in the back, see what the comfort's like. Answer, fantastic. Can I open this door? No, I don't think I can. Oh, there you go. Yep. The gentle touch, my greatest problem. So we get inside, and it's velo seating. The interior of this car is probably its greatest asset. I mean, in bodily and underneath, it's in very good condition, apart from the dents. But this is really a very nice way to travel indeed, provided you're not a fan of leather. You could argue that leather creaks and the velo's silent. Well, these are really well done, very nice. This has got a ski flap. I'm sounding like Chris Goffey now. And I'll just let you drink in the Beige Rage interior. The wood is plastic, incidentally. And so what does this car need? Well, in terms of work, it needs a CV joint. I think it's a track rod end, a few other little things. The boost pipe split, so it's very smoky when it starts up. But otherwise, I'm going to get the bodywork sorted out and just utterly enjoy this car, because I've missed having it. I've missed being able to drive it around. A lot of people don't appreciate it as a classic because they just think it's a 405, although the 405s are now beginning to sort of get a little bit of respect on the classic scene. But I probably won't take it to many shows. I'll probably just use it sparingly and enjoy it, because it's probably one of the very few Series 1s left in half decent condition. There are others knocking around. In fact, my colleague at Parker's, Tom Wiltshire, has one, but his is a 2 litre 8 valve, I believe. So that pretty much concludes my thoughts on this car. I will shut up for a minute and let you just listen to the diesel rattle, because I know it's evocative for quite a few people. Pray silence, please. And now that we're done, I'll let you get back to your normal scheduled programming. Take care. Bye-bye.